Our next question comes from Mindy. Mindy did not put where she was from in the form. So Mindy, you could be in Lincoln, Nebraska. You could be in San Francisco, California, Miami, Florida, or Carlsbad, California. So I hope this answers it correctly. I kind of alluded to this earlier. And Mindy's question was, if I'm interviewing realtors, how do I know the best questions to ask? And she clarified this question by saying, like, I've met with multiple real estate agents. They all say they're, been in the business a long time. They all say they have buyers. They all have like, a marketing plan that they feel will sell the home. So like, what should I be asking to help determine like, the best from the rest? There's two things that I would be focused on right now. Number one, and this would probably be in second order, but I'm going to give it to you first. I would hire the real estate agent, or I would ask the real estate agent questions along the lines of, can you identify that you and him or you and her are going to work really well together? And there's like a code of trust and honesty between the two of you. We've all met with salespeople, whether it's cars or insurance or mortgage or real estate, where you can just tell the only thing they want is the deal. At the expense of everything else, the only thing they want is a deal. That is not somebody you probably want to work with, right? So the questions that you would ask to identify that trust factor and how they communicate with you when they disagree with you, how are they disagreeing? Is it very combative? Is it very argumentative? Is it very like, I'm right, you're wrong? Or is it very collaborative? We're looking for a collaborative relationship, right? So that would be the overtone of the entire interview that I would focus on. In regards to specific questions that I would ask, I have a weird opinion on this, and I'll tell you why. And this comes from somebody, it's almost been 20 years, thousands of home sales. I've sold more homes than 97% of all real estate agents out there, just because I've been doing this a long time. And so you could say, like, who's the number one agent, who's sold the most amount of homes, who's born in, like all the cliche things that we see on all the marketing, like that could be a driving factor. I think hunger is really important. Somebody who's very motivated to sell that home. Now, I wouldn't hire a real estate agent that's broke per se, but somebody who like really wants into the market. They really love the listing. Maybe it's a new price point for them, for a bunch of different reasons. But you can kind of tell they have like that chip on their shoulder for wanting to sell that home. Like there's a reason to make you happy. That's really important. The question that I would ask would be somewhere along the line is like, why is this listing really important to you? And just see how they answer the question. If it's like, well, I'm really trying to get to 100 sales this year and this would get me to 90, and like it's very on the surface, it's not a bad answer. I just wouldn't get really excited. The most important thing that I would be focused on is, what is the action plan that you're going to put into place that will drive the most amount of competition for my listing the first week on the market? Right? Is there a well-rounded approach to how they're going to handle social media ads, how they're going to handle YouTube, how they're going to handle media? Sometimes real estate offices matter. Like sometimes it doesn't. I don't really think it's that big of a deal to be at a real estate office that's like very heavily saturated in your market. Agents are very territorial. And I say that as a neutral way, not as a pro, not as a con. And some people are like, hey, I'm willing to share everything. Like, yeah, give me your listings. I'll put it out to my database. And some people are like, no, these are my clients. Like, don't touch them. Stay away from me. I don't want to, and look, I get it from both ways, right? What are you going to do to drive the most amount of competition for my listing the first 7 days? Another question I would ask is, what is your plan if this doesn't work out? What happens if this doesn't go to plan? What happens if you do all the marketing? What happens if we do the staging? What happens if we paint? What happens if we spend a bunch of money in ads? The first week comes and we don't get the showings that we want. What is your action plan to recover, right? Part of that action plan could be a price, adjustment. Part of that could be, letting the ads breathe for a week. Part of that could be a manual intervention in regards to who they're like. There's a whole bunch of answers to that. And I don't know that there's necessarily a right or a wrong answer, but what we're looking for is two things. Number one, do you feel like they're being honest with you in the answer with this? And number two, the way that they describe this, can you tell that they've been here before? I'll tell you again, we're in fourth quarter in a market that's confused. It doesn't know which way to go. Like it could go right, it could go left, it could go either which way. So I don't want you to think that 3 years ago, you could list any home for any price in Carlsbad and it's multiple offers in 3 days. We're not in that market anymore. And we probably won't be in that market for a very long time. Negotiations matter. Skill set matters. Marketing matters. How you position the home matters. I would never list a home on a Saturday, by the way. like, or Sunday. Like even I would actually like Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would never list a home on Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think that is a lost opportunity for a lot of buzz. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no brainer. Every other day, absolutely do not list it. And the numbers today, when we talk about the listings later on in the video, they're going to reference that. I think on Thursday there were 6 homes to hit the market from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 3 days there were 9, so about 3 per day. So that's good. Now there are some times when you just don't have a choice. The home needs to get listed on a Friday or Saturday. I understand it. But if it's within your control, never list on a weekend. It's a huge opportunity lost because all of the showings that are happening that weekend were probably already scheduled and that may slip under the radar. And what's going to happen is you're going to go through that whole weekend and then Monday through Wednesday, and it's going to be like, wait, what's going on? Where are all these buyers you guys said were out there in the market? Like it's crickets. When in reality, you just mistimed the launch of a listing. That's really important. So, do they have a reason to sell the home? I'd be focused on that. Number 2, what happens if your plan doesn't work? Do you have a backup plan for that? Number 3, I would ask, like, do they do this full time? Right? Some people, like, I don't like to ask the productivity question, and I'll tell you why. Um, if you work with an agent that sells 300 homes a year, that could be a bad thing, right? It could negatively affect you because maybe they don't have the time, right? If you work with somebody who sells 90 homes a year but has no admin, that could be a bad thing. They may not be able to give you a time, right? If you work with a massive team that has 75 agents on it and sells 500 homes a year, are you just another listing in there, right? That could be a bad thing. Also could be a great thing, right? You could go both ways. Let's go to the complete opposite thing. If you hire somebody and it's their second day on the job, like, are they going to know how to go toe to toe with the other person, when the negotiations come to a head? Every single deal right now, every single deal right now is a battle. Every single deal right now is a battle. I coach a lot of agents across the country. It's not just our market, it's all across the country. Every single deal right now is a battle. And you need to understand that as somebody who's thinking about selling their home, it's a battle. So the reason why I don't think the production thing is a big deal is because it, like at any production level, it could be a problem, right? There's no like sweet spot for production in regards to how many listings they have at that point or how many homes they've sold. What I would be more focused on is, do they have a plan to sell the home and generate the most amount of activity that first week? And number 2, do they have a reason to sell that home? And then number 3, understand that like the day of like a 6-month contract or a 1-year listing contract, and Carlsbad's not really important, right? Even with us, like we give you an agreement to cancel whenever you want. We actually pre-sign it for you. Like we give you the cancellation agreement. I already sign it. All you have to do is sign it and send it back, and that listing, that listing is gone within 24 hours. And we do that on purpose. Number 1, I want you to understand that we have skin in the game. And that if anytime you feel we're not doing everything that we can to sell that home, like you should have the ability to call our bluff on it, right? You should have some control over the process of like, hey, you had this agreement of, all these things that you were going to do. We don't feel you're living up to that agreement right now. And we feel there should be recourse for that. So we give you a signed cancellation. All you have to do is sign it, give us the reason, email it back. Listing comes off the market within 24 hours and we part ways as friends. I don't know how many listings I've taken since 2007. February of 2007 is when I got my license. Well into the hundreds. I don't think it's been 1,000. I could be wrong on that, but probably pretty close. We've only canceled a listing twice. And one time, we knew it wasn't a fit from the get-go. The client it didn't see eye to eye with us. It was very contentious from the get-go. We, went 3 weeks into it. We were way overpriced, couldn't market the home effectively. He wanted out. We said, okay. And then the other one was just straight up cold feet. 2 weeks in, we did it. We had a couple offers in hand. Homeowner didn't want to sell the home. And they said, hey, we want out. And that's totally okay. We have no desire to keep people locked into contracts longer than they want, right? Now, there are some times when weird things happen, and there's some exceptions to that. But at the end of the day, like we're only interested in win-win situations, right? So from a contract perspective, are they overly confident in the way that they sell homes that they're willing to say, hey, I'll take on all the risk because I've done this so many times. I've seen around so many different corners that maybe you haven't seen from before, that we're willing to put our money where our mouth is. Like, are they creating safety where that's at? Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, we got a little call come in. Let's kill that call here. Okay. Let's get into, we got 9 listings today. Before we get into that, we'll talk a little bit about how we can get that. Hopefully, Mindy, if that made a lot of sense, then let me know in the comments. If not, then let me know and we'll get in today's listings. Hey, let me interrupt this episode really quick and let you know that if you're thinking about selling your home in 2025 or 2026 in Carlsbad, California, and you want the cheat code of how to sell for a record price in record time, click the link in the description below. It's steveolsongroup.com/sell, and we'll give you the entire process that will make this super easy and equitable, even in a market like 2025 or 2026. So click the link in the description, download the guide, let me know if you have any questions, and let's get back to the episode.